come across a new nemesis. The first time I did this, I barely got 5 seconds. We're gonna work our way up to 20. As you know, session 1 of the week, we got good mornings on the menu, and I just figured, I don't think I've really explained why I'm doing these and why this bar specifically. So, good mornings, you can see in a lot of big powerlifting programs, a lot of big powerlifters, a lot of strongmen. Good mornings is a very common movement. And I've always been hesitant about it because 1, nobody ever really taught me how to do it correctly. And 2, whenever I really tried, I would kind of rush through it, my back would get really tired and sore, and I wouldn't really get anything else out of it. And eventually I'd go too heavy that it would just hurt my back. But I figured with this off season, we would start as light as we need to, make sure we're finding a right position where we can get those hamstrings involved and those glutes, and really just dial it in. Going with those tempo reps, there's no need to rush. We're in off season right now, right? And so time under tension is a big point for me in off season, trying to get a lot of muscle recruitment, not concerned about the weight on the bar, trying to kind of really focus on the movement and how it feels. And I feel like the good morning is great for that because it's similar to like a Romanian deadlift or a deadlift, where you're trying to bend all in the hips and utilize as much of the hamstrings, while still not probably bending the knees nearly as much as I would with those other 2 movements. So it's really all in the hips and hamstrings. But the bar is in a different place, right? It's not in my hands, it's on my shoulders. And so what that's gonna do is the weight distribution, it forces me to have to stay a lot more rigid in my spine, meaning the bar constantly, because of this position, just wants to fold me in half. And when I bend over, usually the weight is a little bit farther forward, like on my toes, meaning I have to use more of my back to stabilize. And I felt like that was a big, important point of just like, okay, I feel like my hamstrings are making a lot of progress. For sure, my glutes are getting stronger, but my lower back is probably the limiting factor. And so this movement can kind of target that a little bit more without the kind of risk you'd associate with constantly doing deadlifts or RDLs. Now, why are we doing this bar specifically? Well, there's a few reasons for me. The biggest reason is I feel like with the SSB bar, the safety squat bar, it tends to want to throw me forward even more so than a regular barbell. And so, one, that just makes the movement even harder as is. And this is the same with good mornings or squats, but it makes the movement challenging more so because I have to stay more upright, or not necessarily upright. I have to keep my back flatter, even though the whole time the weight kind of wants to throw it forward. A couple other reasons why is I just find it's more comfortable across my shoulders. With a back squat, I can really wedge my arms back there, which mobility is a bit of an issue for sure. That's something I want to not neglect, but that's definitely an issue. But I can keep a tighter back position. Whereas having this bar, my back, like I have to consciously think about keeping my back tight. whereas a back squat kind of just does that for me. And also, if this is regular barbell, I tend to find the slower the sets, the longer they take, my arms just go numb, and that's probably an issue too that we'll have to address. But I just want these to feel good. I want to make these more challenging than they need to be, and I'm putting them first in the program because this is the biggest thing I want to work on. You know, I want to get better at this movement. I want to get more comfortable with this movement. I want to be able to keep this in my program no matter where I'm at in my training, whether it's off season or on season, and be able to utilize it for hypertrophy sessions, strength-based sessions, and whatever else. So yeah, this is becoming hugely important, and I'm hoping and I feel like it's contributing to building a stronger deadlift, a stronger back, stronger hamstrings, more power in the hips, kind of checking off all the boxes that I'd wanted to. So yeah, that's why we're doing this. That's why we're using this bar. And in terms of weights, I'm just going with whatever feels comfortable. Obviously, I want to try to progress the weight week to week. And one week that might be 5 pounds, the next week that might be 20 pounds. My goal is just to kind of chip away at it slowly and surely. You know, we went 20 more pounds than last week, and that felt amazing. My back feels great, my hamstrings feel like they're getting some work in. But maybe next week things will be different, but the goal will be like at least throwing some 2.5s on there. So enough talking, let's get into some hip thrusts, which have become super time consuming, but man, we're making progress.